Picture this. You're standing before the most powerful person in the empire, falsely accused of a crime you didn't commit. The person pointing the finger? The woman who raised you, who you called mother for 15 years. Today, I'm sharing the story of how one lie shattered my world, and how I turned that betrayal into the foundation of my ultimate vindication. This isn't just about revenge. This is about justice served cold, calculated, and absolutely devastating. My name carries weight now, but back then, I was just another adopted child in a noble household. Lady Margaret had taken me in when I was 7, a strategic move disguised as charity. To the outside world, she was the benevolent matriarch who saved an orphan. To me, she was the woman who gave me shelter, education, and a name. But beneath that carefully constructed facade lurked something far more sinister. The imperial court was a chessboard where every move mattered, where alliances shifted like sand, and where a single misstep could mean exile or worse. Lady Margaret had mastered this game decades before I even understood its rules. The morning that changed everything started like any other. The emperor's summons arrived at dawn, bearing the imperial seal that made servants tremble and nobles calculate their next moves. The sacred artifact of Eldoria has been stolen. The emperor's voice echoed through the marble halls as we knelt before the throne. The relic, a crystalline pendant said to hold the essence of our empire's founding, had vanished from the most secure vault in the palace. Then came the moment that shattered my world into 1,000 irreparable pieces. "Your Imperial Majesty," Lady Margaret's voice carried the perfect balance of sorrow and duty. "It pains me to speak against my own adopted daughter, but I witnessed her near the vault 3 nights ago. She was the one who ate it, consumed by greed for its power." The accusation wasn't just about theft. In our empire, consuming a sacred artifact was considered the highest form of blasphemy, punishable by exile to the forbidden wastes, where survival was measured in days, not years. But here's what Lady Margaret didn't anticipate. My exile wouldn't be my ending. It would be my beginning. The forbidden wastes were supposed to break me. Instead, they forged me into something Lady Margaret never expected. Someone with nothing left to lose and everything to gain. 3 years. That's how long it took me to discover the truth that would unravel her perfectly constructed lie. The artifact was never stolen. It was never consumed. It was hidden, carefully, deliberately, strategically, in the one place no one would ever think to look. During my exile, I encountered someone who would change everything. Master Chen, a former imperial court investigator who had been discredited and banished years earlier. Through him, I learned the ancient art of evidence reconstruction and the delicate skill of political maneuvering. But most importantly, I learned patience. Together, we began to unravel a conspiracy that stretched back 15 years, to the very day Lady Margaret adopted me. You see, I wasn't just any orphan. I was the daughter of the former imperial treasurer, a man who had discovered Lady Margaret's embezzlement scheme. My parents' death wasn't an accident. It was an execution. My adoption wasn't charity. It was insurance. And my false accusation, that was the final piece of a puzzle she'd been assembling for over a decade. When I returned to the capital 4 years later, I wasn't the broken exile they expected. I carried with me something far more dangerous than any weapon: irrefutable proof, financial records, witness testimonies, and most damning of all, the sacred artifact itself, exactly where Lady Margaret had hidden it all those years ago.
The emperor's court looked exactly as I remembered, but I was no longer the naive young woman who had knelt there in shame. This time, Lady Margaret was the one trembling as I presented my evidence with the cold precision of someone who had spent years preparing for this moment. "Your Imperial Majesty," I said, my voice steady and clear, "I stand before you not as an exile seeking forgiveness, but as a daughter seeking justice for parents who were murdered and truth for a crime I never committed." The look in Lady Margaret's eyes when she realized her carefully constructed world was crumbling, that moment was worth every harsh night in the wastes. The trial that followed revealed the full scope of her crimes: 15 years of embezzlement, the murder of my parents, the theft and concealment of the sacred artifact, and finally, the false testimony that nearly cost me my life. But here's the twist that even I didn't see coming. Lady Margaret's punishment wouldn't be exile or execution. It will be something far more devastating to someone who lived for power and prestige. Complete erasure from imperial records. Her name struck from every document. Her titles revoked. Her legacy deleted as if she had never existed at all. Today, I serve as the Emperor's chief investigator, specializing in cases of political conspiracy and noble corruption. The skills I learned in exile, the patience I developed through suffering, and the determination forged by betrayal, they all became the foundation of a new life I never could have imagined. Sometimes, the people who hurt us most are the ones we trusted completely. But here's what I learned from this experience. Betrayal, while devastating, can also be transformative. It strips away illusions and reveals the strength we never knew we possessed. Lady Margaret thought she was destroying me when she pointed that finger and spoke those lying words. Instead, she was creating the very person who would bring about her downfall. The accusation that was meant to end my story became the opening chapter of something far greater. Have you ever faced a moment where someone's betrayal seemed to destroy everything you thought you knew about your life? How did you transform that pain into power? Share your story in the comments, because sometimes the most powerful revenge is simply refusing to let someone else's cruelty define your future. And if this story resonated with you, hit that subscribe button. Every week, we explore stories of resilience, justice, and the unexpected ways that our darkest moments can become our greatest strengths. Remember, the best revenge isn't just getting even, it's becoming so successful that their betrayal becomes irrelevant to your happiness.